Emi Martinez might be leaving Aston Villa this summer. I I don't know why. Like these rumors just kind of popped out of nowhere. By the way, if you haven't heard, there are rumors that Emi Martinez is leaving Aston Villa. I have been very suspicious of them since these reports started popping up. I want to say earlier this month, maybe a full month ago, like late April. And I've always been very like, oh, Emmy wouldn't leave. He loves Villa, and that is all very true. But on Friday, during that lap of appreciation, the tears were a little concerning for me because I think they might be telling. That tells me that there might be some legitimacy to that rumor. Now, will he actually go? I don't know. I think, and this is what I wanted to talk about. I think there's three potential explanations. The first one, because Villa are forever and always in financial fair play and profit sustainability requirement, whatever it stands for, issues. The big one, though, because I do want to point this out to anyone who might not be a Villa fan and be aware of kind of the situation, it's wages. That's it. For UEFA, we are at 96, 97. One of those two numbers doesn't really matter at that point. We've got about 3 to 4% of wiggle room left, and Emi Martinez is a big earner. He's up there probably with, I know that Tielemans and Dean and probably Kamara, but right now, I don't think right now is the time to sell Luka Dean. He and Matson are a really good sort of platoon option, or I don't even know if I'm using the right word. I'm so upset. Yeah, rotating just for different reasons. Matson's super fast. He can definitely take on slow fullbacks and defenders, but that's a different conversation for a different video. I think next season might be the season to shift Luka Dean, but he is a high wage earner, and so he could. I just don't think he's getting sacrificed. Let's move on from that. So I think that what might be why Emi Martinez is potentially um, open to going. And I know that he said during this season, and Villa fans will tell you this, he has not been the same as he has been in previous seasons. So I'm wondering, the one thing I was thinking was like, okay, maybe it's kind of tying into all three of my explanations, not to give too many spoilers, but a move to Saudi could be, okay, I'm going to help Villa, take the fall and, go to Saudi, but it sounds like he doesn't want to go there. We'll talk about that later. I'm not where I need to be to help Villa get where they need to be. I don't necessarily believe that. Maybe he's thinking that. Maybe he knows something that we don't know. I'm not good enough for where Villa want to be. I am being offered so much money, and he is a family man. And, help Villa with their FFP PSR and make himself a shit ton of money, help his family never have to worry about money ever again. That's an amazing dream. And, maybe he just feels his time has come to an end. He's been here 5 years, although we'll get into the other reasons. He could maybe be making the sacrifice for financial fair play and PSR for Villa. Like if but it's one player. Anyways, that could be a reason. I'm also thinking he could want to make bag. Maybe someone else can pay him way more. Like Saudi, he said he's not interested in going to Saudi until after the World Cup. That makes sense. But I don't know. I mean, he's making pretty darn good money here. Villa can finally match his aspirations to win a trophy. Like he didn't leave us in the 21-22 season or the 22-23 season when Gerrard, had he been left in there a second longer, would have gotten us relegated. So I don't think it's that. Maybe it's an issue with Emery. When Emery came in, there were reports that he was kind of celebrating his exit, and I don't know how true that is. That was before I was even following the sport. So I don't think that's the thing. If there really was an untenable relationship with Emery, he would have left by now. So I don't think that's it. Also, he signed a new contract until 2029. He wouldn't have done that if he was like, because Emery's not going anywhere for a while. So those are the three main issues. Now, I've already gone through in my first point, spoiler, that I don't think it's reason two or three. I don't think it's the money. I don't think it's an issue with Emery. I really think that it's FFP and PSR, and that might not be entirely his decision. The club may have said, hey, they may have even gone around and like talked to players, because I think Leon Bailey might be a player who will be probably going to Saudi Arabia. It sounds like there's some money, there's some interest with some big money in getting his wages, because he signed a new contract last season. And with how he was playing, I'm sure that's not an insignificant amount of money. But we're talking about Emi Martinez. I think that now Champions League qualification, which unfortunately at this point is out of our hands, we need City, Newcastle, or Chelsea to drop points. Any of the So it's not that bad. We just need one to drop points, and drop points at all if we win. Now, if we get a draw, we need one team to outright lose. But again, that's for Friday's video. Let's see. Yeah, because if we got 83 or 84 million euros for how far we got in the Champions League, that will help immensely with wages. Now, obviously, a lot of that needs to go into uh, transfer funds as well. We're going to need to up the. At this point, I don't think Rashford's going to stay. I just don't. And with his wages and where we are with wages, oh my god. I would rather keep Asensio personally. But again, that's another topic for another video. But I do think that Champions League qualification would make it so maybe we can kind of Frankenstein enough transfer fees before June 30th that would offset the wages and avoid any points deductions. But I don't know that we can do that with Europa League, and I certainly don't think we can do that with Conference League. We would be able to get to the point where we would have a decent squad and like be able to do what we need to do. But keeping Martinez, keeping like Jacob Ramsey, because he was floated as a selling option last year because he's homegrown. Yeah, I just think that Champions League now makes that much more important, because I think that really is the only way to kind of save us from having to sell him. And that's a lot of pressure, and I hope that we turn up, because I don't want to lose Emmy. But if worst case scenario does happen, I've got some replacements. The problem is we have almost nothing already built in at the club. Robin Olsen is leaving at the end of the summer on a free, which is completely fine. He wasn't up to snuff. Whenever he did play, there was always the defense didn't look as good, but he's leaving, so we're not going to dwell on that too much. The other problem is we don't really have another backup goalkeeper like already at the club. Anyone who we like have any sort of faith in, I think it's Philip Marshall. I always have to be careful because I want to say Philip Jorgensen, but he's at Chelsea. Philip Marshall and Joe Gauchi were in League One, so they're nowhere near ready for whatever competitions we'll be in next season. External replacements, the names for Garcia, Johan Garcia at Espanyol, and Kevin Kelleher at Liverpool, of course, have been floated, and I have a personal preference. I would personally prefer Kelleher. He is already familiar with the Premier League. I would back him to start damn near every game. He's more than serviceable. He's like, what, in his mid-20s? So you'd have plenty of time to get plenty of use out of him. Like, even if you use him for 5 years and he's 31, for a goalkeeper, that is still a very sellable age. So for me, if Kelleher is an option, because he is going to be, like, he is number one in the Premier League and playing in the Champions League material, it's just going to be a matter of who convinces him. And I really hope that it's Villa, but if it's not that Garcia, I'm interested to see what he can do. I'm just playing in La Liga is obviously a good league. I'm not dissing La Liga. I'm just wondering how he would adjust, because distribution is huge in the Emery system, and I'm sure he's great at it. I just haven't personally seen it, which is why I'm going with what I know in Kelleher. That's really all it is. I'm trying to be all tactical and stuff. It's just I just feel comfortable because of what I've seen from Kelleher. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of, because I couldn't believe I didn't talk about this after the Spurs reaction. So just wanted to come here, talk about Martinez, give my input as a Villa fan. And, oh, and my new third shirt just got here, sponsorless. Getting this shirt was an odyssey, but that's another story for another time. I hope the video leaves you well. And unless you're Manchester, well, no, I don't hope a lot of teams win. I need like at least, I would like teams to drop points. So I hope your Super Sunday is safe. I'll leave it at that. And up the